Meeting call to order. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Welcome to Taj Toastmasters Club, Area 6, Division B, District 79, meeting number 962. I am Mohammed Mateen, your Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting. Before we begin, let me read out the mission of our Toastmasters Club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Please repeat the oath after me. For better listening, for better thinking, and better speaking. We learn by doing. Thank you. Since we are in a Zoom meeting, members other than the role players, meeting leaders, and speakers are advised to mute their microphones during the meeting. However, I request you all to keep your videos on during the course of the meeting. You are urged to applaud using the emojis and through your videos. As a general rule, Toastmasters encourages all speakers and role players to speak on any topic except politics, religion, and sex. I request all our guests and members to put your mobile phones on silent mode, and in case of emergency, you may take the call and go out and speak or leave the room and speak. I hope you will enjoy today's session as everyone would do. Let me now hand over the control of the meeting to the presiding officer for tonight. He is none other than the training manager of Dunkin' Donuts. Having said that, you might as well guess who the person is none other than the charming darling of our Gavels Club as well as our club. So we look forward for a great entertaining session. And I present to you our MC for tonight, DTM Manaz Al-Bukhari, the presiding officer.
Thank you very much, Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Mohammed Mateen. A very warm good evening to our Toastmasters, fellow Tajians, and distinguished guests. A very warm good evening, and I am honored to be the presiding officer on the first meeting of 2022. I hope you had a great New Year celebrations, and we are all here with utmost energy and excitement to learn more about from Taj Toastmasters. As you all know, Taj Toastmasters is celebrating its 20th year. We were chartered in 2001 and we are on our 20th year, and we will soon have our celebrations as well. At Taj Toastmasters, we had an epic journey. As always, this year also is really exciting. And more importantly, at Taj, we are always proud about the unity and the friendship which we have amongst each other. Today, we are doing our meeting number 962, and I am really honored to say that our meeting is going to have an amazing theme, and the theme is the inevitability of change. When I hear the word change, I always remind myself, Manas, stop getting used to things, because this is going to change. We had a time when we used to hear music from tape recorders. It's no more available right now. Then we thought of CDs, that too went away. Now people roam around with their mobile phones with all those things inside that. And we never know when this mobile phone is going to go away and we speak with our spectacles or with the cooling glasses or whatsoever. So technology is booming. Change is very constant. I'm not going to speak too much about change, but there is something which we don't have any change in the Taj Toastmasters meeting, is to recognize great performers. and we don't start our meeting without recognizing last meeting winners. Please hold on your applause until I announce all the meeting winners' name. Our best speaker was Toastmaster Sunil Udikula. Our best table topic speaker was Toastmaster Shakir. Our best evaluator was Toastmaster Karunakaran. Our best meeting leader was Toastmaster Philip. And best of big three is yours truly, Manaz Al-Bukhari. So a big round of applause for all the meeting winners. Thank you very much for an amazing meeting last week, which was conducted at Masala Zone. And I'm looking forward for the next hybrid meeting at Masala Zone, which is coming the next week. Meanwhile, it's great to have online meetings so that we can find a lot more friends. Like today, we have one guest who have joined us because of that online platform and the benefit of Zoom. Let me call upon Ms. Asma Abdullah to introduce herself to Taj Toastmasters Club.
Thank you for the introduction. I am a previous Toastmaster. I was a member of Concordia Toastmasters in Montreal, Canada, and I haven't been in a club for a while. My communication skills have decreased, and now I'm back to work on my communication skills. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming to Taj Toastmasters Club. I can see another name, Marutesh. Since the video is not on, Mr. Marutesh?
Yeah.
Kindly switch on your videos and introduce yourself to Taj Toastmasters Club members, please.
Yeah. Hello everyone, I am Marutesh. I am working as a research scholar and professor in Karnataka, India. And I am a president of Speakers Toastmasters Club.
Thank you very much, Mr. Marutesh, for joining in from India. It's quite late, I believe. Thank you very much for your passion and interest in Toastmasters, even during this late hours. Big round of applause for all the guests who have joined us. Thank you very much for being a part of this awesome meeting. We look forward for you to stay back and give your feedbacks towards the end of our meeting.
Thank you.
So every week at Toastmasters, we learn a word. And this is how we improve our communication skills. I'm looking for my word master today, Toastmaster Anand Kumar Jha. If he's here around.
Unfortunately, he's not reachable. I've been trying to call him.
All right. So we will give this chance for the Toastmaster of the day to introduce the word master later once he joins in. With that note, it is my time to hand over the podium to today's Toastmaster of the day. Now, when I talk about today's Toastmaster of the day, I'm out of words to explain about him because he has been a role model for almost all Tajians. Whichever arena you see in Toastmasters, he's a champion of that. If we were to talk about a table topic speech, evaluation, international speech, even humorous speech, there is nowhere he haven't proven his skill and talent as a champion speaker. Associate consultant, oral surgeon at King South University Medical City. He had been a Toastmaster since 2017. He is currently the club vice president public relations for Garjana Toastmasters Club, club member of Mecca KSA Toastmasters Club, and 2021 has been amazing for him because he got his distinguished Toastmaster accolade this year. Let me, with a big round of applause, call upon our club president, Toastmaster Dr. Sundar Ramalingam, distinguished Toastmaster Dr. Sundar Ramalingam to be the Toastmaster of the day. Stage is yours.
Thank you very much. distinguished Toastmaster Manaz Al-Bukhari and the presiding officer for today's meeting for that elaborate, enchanting, and humbling introduction. I really don't know if I stand worthy of it, but thank you very much for that one. Fellow Toastmasters and all my dear friends, wish you all a very happy new year. 2022, I believe, would be a great year for all of you, and welcome you all with a warm wishes for a great evening for today's meeting. In the inevitability of change, change is something that we always, sometimes we are afraid of, but sometimes we also look forward to. Let's take an example. For example, you are planning to go on a tour or a travel. Of course, for the last 1 or 2 years, this has been something next to impossible because of the current pandemic. But definitely once the pandemic is down and everything is back to normal, when we will be looking forward to travel. So you want to go to a new place, you always look forward to it, right? But at the same time, when we are forced to make a change away from our comfort zone, be it in the workplace, be it at home, or be it even in Toastmasters arena, asking you to do a new project, we are a little bit afraid. So why is change like that? Okay, are we really afraid of it, or are we really happy about it? To quote Heraclitus, the only thing that's constant in all our lives is change. So that is every moment, every moment that you breathe in and breathe out, you are getting older by at least a second or a moment. Okay, that indeed it's a change. We were children. We grew up as adults. We grew up as parents. We grew as responsible citizens. We grew up as Toastmasters. We grew up as professionals. All of this happens because of change. So the one thing that we all need to keep in our minds is that change is the inevitable thing. Anything may be impending in the future, but change has to happen and we have to go forward, and that's the common rule of life. But talking about change, should it always be so philosophical? Well, I was just reading about it, and actually I was curious to know more about it after hearing a speech from one of our Toastmasters. He was talking about it in one of his international contest speeches about the bridge to nowhere, a bridge that was built in Honduras, a country in South America or Central America, correct me if I'm wrong. And this bridge was built with so much of hard work and efforts gifted by Japan to the people of Honduras, built in a way such that it should build to last. What happened? This was actually a bridge that was built over the river Choluteca. But what happened? One fine day, there was a terrible hurricane, and this hurricane entirely shifted the course of the river. And today, if you go in Google and search for the bridge over the river Choluteca, Choluteca, you will see a bridge that's connecting it's not connecting any two places. It's just standing in the middle of nowhere, and the river is somewhere. So this asks us, or this brings us to a question, or should we all introspect ourselves to ask, when we are working so hard to build something that should last, should we build something last, or should we build something that can adapt? Well, this is the biggest question that I am throwing to you when I am talking to you about the inevitability of change. So anything may be impending. So should we be strong enough to adapt, or should we be strong enough, be in the same place and let go of whatever that we get in our hand? With this question, let us now move on to the great session that we have today, the wonderful meeting. We have meeting number 962. We have a great lineup of prepared speeches. Just for the benefit of anybody who is new, the dictum that we follow in Taj Toastmasters is like what we do in any other Toastmasters club. We have 3 important sessions in the educational session. We have the prepared speeches where members sweat it out. They given all their efforts to deliver their prepared speeches based on project objectives and criteria. And currently we are following the Pathways Toastmasters education program. This would be followed by an exciting session of impromptu speeches by the table topics master, who's going to give you great topics to kindle your impromptu speaking skills and see what best you can offer. And finally, we have the learning session where our general evaluator is going to call for all the evaluators to know how we did. It's not only about the prepared speeches, it's going to be also about the table topics as well as the overall meeting conduct. So having said that, let us look forward to learn new things. Let us look forward to accept change, adapt, and go forward in the journey of success. So today, to conduct this meeting, it's not just me, but I have a pillar of, or rather I would say pillars of strength who are going to help me. These are my meeting leaders. So let me now take the privilege of introducing my meeting leaders for today's meeting. So our first meeting leader to be introduced would be our accounter, Toastmaster Rajiv. Welcome on the virtual lectern, and please introduce yourself and your role.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Sundar. So wait a moment, let me open it. Yeah, so today my role as an accounter, I will just read out the script. So the purpose of the accounter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words as well, including and, well, but, so, and, you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or, this means, this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you, and back to Toastmaster Sundar.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Rajiv, for giving us details of your role. Fellow Toastmasters, the role of the accounter is to improve the way we speak as communicators. You know, better communication makes you a better leader. And when we try to communicate in front of an audience, always we tend to overdo by giving in those filler words, and our accountant is going to help us iron out those filler words. So look forward to his report at the end of the meeting, and let's get into that mode so that we are able to change for the better side. Our next meeting leader who is going to help us in today's meeting is the grammarian, and she has also consented to be the word master because our assigned word master has not been able to join due to some contingencies. Our guest, Madam Toastmaster Asma, please introduce yourself as the role of the word master and grammarian. We would be happy to hear from you. The virtual lectern is yours.
Thank you. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take notes of improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, saying, or thoughts. I will also be responsible for the word of the day, adding one more useful entry to your word hoard at each meeting. Thank you. Back to you.
I would appreciate if you could introduce the word.
Oh, the word of the day. I apologize for that. The word of the day is impending. Impending means about to happen, forthcoming. For example, used in a sentence, the author had returned to his country ahead of the impending war. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Asma. We are indeed privileged to have you here as a guest and as well as taking up roles of the word master and the grammarian. A big round of applause for our guest, Toastmaster Asma. Okay, so I request everybody to take note of the word that has been introduced to you, impending. Okay, so we are all looking forward to the impending success after the hard work. So let's all work together and use this word and improve our vocabulary, and also look forward to the feedback from the grammarian for better usage of English language. And also we learn from the better usage that has been highlighted and noted down by the grammarian from other speakers. Our next role player, whom I would like to introduce, is the person who is in charge of making sure that we are punctual to the dot. And this is one thing that probably does not change for anyone, but if we are able to stick on to it, we can change so many things. You guessed it right, it's time, and we have our timer, Toastmaster Bhaskar. Toastmaster Bhaskar, please introduce your role, and the virtual lectern is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Fellow Toastmasters, Happy New Year again. Wish you good luck and success in this year. As a timer today, my role will be to time all the prepared speeches and table topic speakers and evaluators. I will alert each speaker of the time they have left using green, yellow and red as a screen background, which would denote the time remaining. And for prepared speeches, you will have 5 to 7 minutes, and green will be at 5 minutes, and yellow 6 minutes, and red at 7 minutes. And for table topic speeches, each speech will have around 1 to 2 minutes, and the same goes again. Green will be for 1 minute, and yellow 1 minute 30 seconds, and red at 2 minutes. And individual evaluators will have 2 to 3 minutes, which again green will be in 2 minutes, and yellow 2 minutes 30 seconds, and red at 3 minutes. For all speeches, you will be left over with 30 seconds. If you do not wrap up, you will be disqualified. So good luck and have a good evening, everybody. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Bhaskar, for explaining to us about the timing criteria. And we all shall be sticking on to the timings in our speeches. And that's one of the areas that we all try to improve. And that's where the timer is going to help us change for the better. And last but not the least, we have yet another role player who is going to find out who among us has performed the best based on all our opinions. So he's going to be the vote counter for today. Toastmaster Shakir, the most interesting role, who decides who is the winner. Toastmaster Shakir, please come over to the virtual lectern and introduce your role as the vote counter.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. A very warm good evening to all. As a vote counter, I will help you to choose the best prepared speaker, best table topic speaker, best evaluator, best meeting leader, and best of big three. We shall using the Google form, and I shall share the link after each segment, and you can vote for the best performer or segment leader as you believe they performed in best of their ability. I shall not voting until unless there is a need to break a tie, and I will give my report once called upon by the presiding officer at the end of the meeting. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Shakir, for explaining your role as the vote counter. Friends and fellow Toastmasters and all my dear guests. So we have now come to the introduction of the role players and the briefing about the meeting. So it's now time to jump on to the prepared speech session. So we have 3 prepared speeches lined up for today's meeting. All of them have definitely put in their abilities for bringing in change and are looking forward towards the impending success towards the end of their speech. Our first speaker today, before I introduce him, let me call upon the first speaker's evaluator. May I call upon the evaluator, Toastmaster Sunita Johnny, to read out the speech objectives for the first prepared speech. Toastmaster Sunita, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dr. Sundar. Today, my speaker, Toastmaster Ibrahim, he's doing his level 1 project 4. And the main purpose or the objective of the speech is to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized and well-constructed speech on the topic that he chooses. With that, I wait and look forward to an impending fantastic speech. All the best to Toastmaster Ibrahim. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sunita, for introducing the speech objectives. Our first speaker today is a country manager working as planning and control manager working at Bahri Logistics Corporate Office in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He was working as a marketing manager in Baltimore, USA, and has been in the USA for almost 18 years. And one of his greatest leadership role that he has taken up in the USA was the volunteering role of a vice chairman, as well as president of the Washington Metropolitan Cricket Board. But beyond all of this, the best position that he enjoys is the role of a dad for his son and daughter. He's blessed with 1 wife and 1 son and daughter, beautiful family. And he had humble beginnings. And through his hard work, he believes that he has come up to whatever level he is. In terms of Toastmastering, I have seen him in the last 1 year. And he is a man who embodies change, that too in a remarkable fashion. Even clubs are struggling to achieve educational awards as much as he has done individually. So as far as the last count that I know, probably if I'm wrong, please correct me, my dear speaker, he has at least 24 educational awards to his credit within the 6 months of this program year. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Ibrahim Ali Karjikar to deliver his Level 1, Project 4 from Engaging Humor Path. Toastmaster Ibrahim, the virtual stage is yours.
Am I audible?
Loud and clear.
I wish if the host gives me the authority to share my screen, please.
The screen sharing has been enabled.
Is my screen visible now?
Yes, we are able to see it.
I'm trying to figure out what's the best way. There you go. So timer, you can start the time from now, please. What are we up to? This has been the question all the time. And I got this opportunity of researching, not that I wasn't aware of, but I said, well, let me deep dive and see where we are heading to. So we, as humans, what are we up to? What are we impeding into? That's a burning question every one of us have. And if you look back, all the civilizations have been trying to give these answers. So what I thought is, with the given technological access, let me research, let me see what we have here. So from technology standpoint, sometimes try to get right. There you go. Yep. So exponential growth. This is one term which you get to see, get to hear, very common these days. And information technology of all kinds, they are doubling their power. And the price performance, the capacity, and the bandwidth every year is doubling. So I said, well, let me put it together and why we don't truly feel what change we are going through. So here I have like 4 charts showing different cycles, which is like a 10, 20, 40, and 80 cycles. And then we can see it just starts with 1, and then it starts with 2, 4, 8, exponential growth. Here. On the left, you see the moment it hits the 20 cycles, the number hits to 600,000. The number it hits the 40 cycles, it gets to 600 billion. 80 cycles, boom. Those numbers are in trillion, that is 700 billion trillion growth. It's just 80 iterations of exponential growth. And that is mind-numbing. So essentially, this is how exponential growth occurs. Now with that, what do we get? What is the product out of it? Then we look back at the human civilization, how we have evolved, how much we have grown. Yep, changed. We have significantly changed since then. Put those all 4 in place. One common thing you see is all those, even in the 80 iterations, till the time when we are away like 8 iterations, it looks like it's just a linear growth. And all of a sudden there is a spike. Here is time before present, where we see all major events in history. Events expressed as time before present, years on the x-axis, and the time to the next event on the y-axis. So we see personal computer coming down after almost 3.7 million years, billion years. Here we see the analytical engines begin in 1900. This is just 1998, 98 years of growth. And we see the Pentium 2 PC. That was my first PC. That's the reason I stopped there. And you know how things have evolved since then. It goes from point fraction or micro fraction to almost 1.3 billion processes. That's how the computing power has increased. Here we see how we as humans from Big Bang have, and I have just plotted that until Christopher Columbus, when he traveled to America. That was just 508 years back. Here's the Big Bang, and from then the internet and the human genome sequencing. So we as humans, we have evolved into sequencing our own genome, DNA. Apple computers. If you look from 1976 to 2009, how they changed. The technology now is accelerating at this rate, and it includes some of the most potent innovations we have ever dreamt of. So to name some, quantum computers, artificial intelligence, robotics, nanotechnology, biotechnology, material science, networks, sensors, 3D printing, augmented reality, virtual reality, even blockchain, and many more. All these technological developments actually are old news. So where are we heading to? Cost per genome, if you look for the human, it has come down to $100. That's why it's 2021, and it's coming down to $100 per human genome sequencing. This is a chart which fascinates me to look. So by 2030, $1,000 of computation will be about 1,000 times more powerful than a human brain. Moore's law is the main reason the smartphone in your pocket is 1,000 times smaller, 1,000 times cheaper, and 1,000,000 times more powerful than the supercomputer that was available in 1970s. And that is not slowing down. So for some people, it seems like scary. So in next few years, the average $1,000 laptop will have the same computing power as the human brain, roughly around 10 to the power of 16 cycles. That's the exponential growth. Humanity stands on the verge of the most transforming and the most thrilling period in its history. We have the capacity and capability to reverse engineer human brain. Think about that. Once we have sequenced this, now we know exactly what's going on. And as we speak, back in California, there are laboratories where all this research is going on. And if the ethics stops, there are other countries where there are no ethical laws which is going to stop that. So we are getting into an era where very nature of what it means to be human will be both enriched and challenged. That's what we are getting into. We as a species have broken the shackles of our genetic legacy, and we are achieving inconceivable heights of intelligence, material progress, and longevity. That's where we are going into. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ibrahim, for showing us a great piece of presentation. Sorry, I just cut off my video. Thank you very much for showing us a great piece of presentation that remarkably shows how much we have changed in that short span of time that we all know that we have been living here. But this is just probably a drop in the mighty ocean. There is still so much more, and would like to hear even more, provided we have a longer time from you, Toastmaster Ibrahim. So up next, we have our second prepared speech for today. And the second prepared speech would be evaluated by none other than yours truly. So I will be reading out the objectives for this speech. So my speaker, who is the second prepared speaker for today's meeting, is going to deliver his project number 3 from level 1 of visionary communication. And this project is about introduction to vocal variety and body language. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using vocal variety or body language to enhance a speech. So about this speech, the member has to present a well-organized speech on any topic and should have the awareness of intentional and unintentional movement and body language. And the speech could be humorous, informational, or any style which the member chooses, and also should try to incorporate vocal variety. The speech length timer, please note, will be 5 to 7 minutes, 5 minutes green, 6 minutes yellow, and 7 minutes red. And I will now take back my role as the TMOD. And to introduce this person who is going to deliver his speech today is Toastmaster Rajan Jose. He has been working in Saudi Arabia for almost 20 years now and has his roots in two places. Probably he has 2 feet, one on either side, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, the two beautiful southern states of India. A projects manager by profession with a degree in science and majoring in physics from Loyola College, one of the famous colleges in Chennai, my hometown. And more recently, a NEBOSH UK certified HSE professional. He works for Aval Group, First Telecom Industries in Industrial City, Riyadh. He's blessed with a beautiful family, a wife, one of our Toastmasters, Toastmaster Sunita, who is an English teacher by profession, and 2 children, a son and a daughter, son Joseph and daughter Rose Maria. And he has currently taken up his Toastmasters pathways. He was a Toastmaster earlier, but then he took a long sabbatical and then has rejoined Toastmasters and has chosen the visionary communication path. So when I ask him about the change or the perspective of change that he feels for this year is new year, new me. Let's make moderate, realistic goals for gradual change this new year. So although he sent me a long message, but I have truncated it for want of time. So please put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Rajan Jose, our second prepared speaker for today's evening. Toastmaster Rajan, the virtual stage is yours. Toastmaster Rajan, you're muted.
Am I audible?
Loud and clear, sir.
Thank you, DTM Dr. Sundar. It's only your name that's my enemy. You'd still be yourself, even if you've stopped being a Montague. What's a Montague anyway? It isn't a hand or a foot or an arm, a face, or any other part of a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That's what we call a rose. That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Romeo would be just as perfect even if he wasn't called Romeo. Romeo, lose your name. Trade in your name, which really has nothing to do with you, and take all of me in exchange. To these famous words by Juliet, our dear Romeo replies, I trust your words. Just call me your love, and I will take a new name. From now on, I will never be Romeo again. Act 2, Scene 2 of Shakespeare's play, Romeo and Juliet. While reciting these ageless words, I got carried away to the English class by Miss Abraham on a warm Tuesday afternoon at DB Matriculation School in Chennai. Goosebumps. Shakespeare is widely recognized as the greatest English poet the world has ever known. Not only were his plays mainly written in verse, but he also penned 154 sonnets, 2 long narrative poems, and a few other minor poems. Today, he has become a symbol of poet and writing international. What's in a name or a word? Some words have many impending meanings. Others can be used with different values attached to them. But as Shakespeare pointed out, changing the word you use does not change the object or idea that it refers to. In the scene, Juliet, who met Romeo at her father's party and mistakenly thinks he has gone home, whereas Romeo is lingering in her garden, watching the balcony of her bedroom, and he overhears her speaking. It's then that he shows himself to her, and action between them begins, leading to their secret marriage and eventually their impending deaths. The two leading families, the Montagues and the Capulets, are engaged in an ancient feud. They move in entirely different circles and avoid each other. Romeo and Juliet's generation are slightly more flexible, as are some older members of the families. Do you think that either of them felt the impending doom at that time? Or was Juliet so filled with positivity, realizing with Romeo's assistance, she could dispel the impending danger? As DTM Dr. Sundar rightly pointed out, we should accept change, adapt, and move forward. My grandmother was very fond of cultivating different colors of the rose flower in her garden at her ancestral home in Kerala. She used to tell us, grandchildren, as we looked with awe on her rose collection, that the best time for pruning is when rains are completely over and winter is impending. Then there are times in our life when we have to call a spade a spade. No flowery language will suffice. Last Friday afternoon, while preparing my speech, I understood the whole meaning and importance of this war against the 4 Ps and the impending battle. Nobody wants to listen to a robotic, monotonous voice. It's boring, unconvincing, and frankly, difficult to listen for any length of time. The outstanding public speaker is very engaging, just like you Toastmasters. Aside from delivering a well-crafted speech, the compelling speaker takes full advantage of one's voice. Pitch, the high and low of our voice to add interest. Pace, to speak quickly or slowly. Power, speaking loudly to demonstrate anger or joy, or quietly to demonstrate fear or sadness. Pause, short or long, as a punctuation in a presentation. So the 4 Ps, pitch, pace, power, and pause, combined can add more variety and color to our voice. Roses, 4 Ps, love. The clear voice of Jim Reeves rings in my ears, and I can't help this impending song. Roses are red, my love. Violets are blue. Sugar is sweet, my love, but not as sweet as you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Please give a big round of applause for our second speaker, Toastmaster Rajan Jose, for his beautiful speech on vocal variety and body language. I'm pretty sure that we all enjoyed his song that was the touching glory of his speech. So we have a third prepared speaker for tonight. Unfortunately, the third prepared speaker is held up in office, so we will just now move on with our agenda and probably try to accommodate the third prepared speaker once the next session is finished. So as of now, I would like to hear from the time. Anyway, we will be having time for voting once the third prepared speech is finished. So timer, please note that the timing report regarding the prepared speeches would be taken up after the table topic session.
Okay.
So for now, give a big round of applause to our first two prepared speakers, Toastmaster Ibrahim Ali Karjikar and Toastmaster Rajan Jose, for their wonderful efforts. Great speeches. We all learned something new today, definitely. So next, we have the interesting session that I was talking to you about, the exciting session that is going to kindle your impromptu spirits. You know, we are all trained or attuned as humans to be impromptu in several things. Okay, if I ask you to do something right now, you have to be prepared to do it in a way. So be it professional, be it in your workplace, be it even in your school as children, we have been asked to do several things on the dot, on the go. So here we are going to ask you to speak on the dot, on the go. And that's the idea of having the table topic speech. And this, remember, my dear friends, is going to have a great impact in changing the way you are looking as a communicator and in turn as a leader. They say that impromptu speaking is something that we all need to develop for better confidence as great communicators and leaders. So that's one aspect which enthralls us all in Toastmasters. And let's look forward to the next session, which is the table topic session. And to conduct this session, we have yet another energetic Toastmaster from Taj Toastmasters Club. And this gentleman, he hails from Pudukkottai in Tamil Nadu, the same state as where I hail from. And he works as an associate professor in medical bacteriology at King Saud University and has a varied research interest in multidisciplinary sciences. He has published several scientific articles from several research areas, and he has, to his accolade, almost 115 scientific publications. If you just go into Google Scholar, this is actually a scientific database of publications. You go and search type his name, and you would see several papers published, and more than that, several of his papers have been cited by renowned authors as well. And he has been living in Riyadh for the last 10 years, and I am indeed proud to say that he is one of my proteges. When I asked him about his perspective of change in this new year, he said he wants to become more active and help others. Please put your hands together to welcome our table topics master for today, Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam. Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam, the virtual lectern is yours.
Am I audible?
Yes, Dr. Arunachalam. Can you be a bit louder?
Yeah, yes. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. The pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Respected Toastmasters, hello guest, good evening, everyone. Today I am here a table topic master.
Point of order, Doctor, would you please increase your volume? We are not able to hear you properly. I'm being the evaluator. Thank you for that.
Okay, 1 second, please. Now I am audible?
Very clear.
It's okay?
Yes, loud and clear.
Sorry for that. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Respected Toastmasters and wonderful guests, good evening to all of you. Today, I am here as a table topic master to help the members improve their unprepared speaking skills. Table topic helps train members to quickly organize and express their thought. You can think of the table topic speech as a mini speech with an opening and body and conclusion. This also provides a speaking opportunity for any members in the meeting. A guest may also participate if they wish. Each speaker is required to speak 1 to 2 minutes, and participants are disqualified at 2 minutes 30 seconds. I request all the speakers, please use the word of the day for your speech. Are you ready for all the Toastmasters? Before starting our table topics, we will discuss about our theme of the day. What a great themes today they came for our Toastmaster of the day. The inevitability of change. Yes, if you don't change, we don't grow. If you don't grow, we are not really living. Change is inevitable, so that the best thing you can change to this plan for it. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new changes. When you are the master of change things, you are the master of in your life. So dear Toastmasters, so be ready to jump a change in this year. Now let's start our table topic session. The first topics. One way to pick up a future is to believe is inevitable. From this, the question is, what is the biggest inevitability change you have made in your life in the last year? For this, I request Toastmaster Rajiv. Toastmaster Rajiv, your topic is, what is the biggest inevitability change you have made in your life in the last year?
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Arunachalam. The biggest change which I have, which come in my life in last year, if I think about my movement to Riyadh itself. I was in Bangalore in Deutsche Bank for a good number of years, close to 15 years, very comfortable, complacent, which I have already described earlier during one of my speeches. Very comfortable. You know the entire people in Deutsche Bank, you dial the phone and you have the things in place. Leaving all that thing and leaving the family, coming over here in Riyadh and setting up joining in a new job, that's entirely challenging, which is merger of two banks, the SAB and Alawal. So I joined in that flagship project for SAB, which itself was challenging. So it took a long time for me to decide that whether I should come to Riyadh. Of course, back in India, the image of Saudi Arabia is something different, which was not that friendly and kind of lot of other things. But I decided to move on. I decided to do the things which is pulling me back much more and more. My mother always used to say that, do the things which you are afraid of, do it more often. So I listened to that. I jumped onto the change. And of course, I found my cheese, what I was having much more cheese in India, but I found it. I decided to move on. I decided to try to seek a much better cheese in somewhere else in the world, and I found that. So I always remember a book, which is Who Moved My Cheese. So it's a good book, which is 20 pages. Most of you people would have read it. So I would request you to read it. And that's it from my side. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Arunachalam.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajiv, for your great speech about the theme. The next topic, change your thought and change your life. From this, what is the one thing about the world that you wish to could change? For this, I request to call Toastmaster Muhammad Shagir. Your topic is, what is the one thing about the world that you wish you could change?
Change is inevitable, but the progress, it's an optional. Fellow Toastmasters and my dear friends, a very warm good evening to all of you. I'm not well today, but I want to join the meeting. I want to give a try. So be with me till I finish my table topic. The one thing that I would like to change, it's about my practice. Last year, I set a goal to get a six-pack, but it doesn't happen because I was lazy. After the duty hours, I came back to home and had my dinner and finished the day. But what will happen if I will take a little more initiative to do it actual? The first thing in 2022 I done, the first day that I got my salary, I take a membership from one of the closest gym near to my home. 2 days ago, I didn't visit the branch, but still I take a first initiative. So the word that I want to change, practice, take initiative, never give up. You can take it in your. So fellow Toastmasters, we have the goals, take up the initiative, and that is the one word that I would like to change, practice. Thank you, and back to Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Muhammad Sagir, for a great speech. The next topics. Even if I failed, at least I tried. And for that, I will always be a winner. From this, what is something you have tried last year, but could never do again? For this, I call Toastmaster Jobber Ali. Your topic is, what is something you have tried last year, but could never do again?
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, warm good evening to all. Change is inevitable. If we are willing to accept the change, or if we are not willing to accept the change, sometimes we have to face the challenge. We have to face the change, and we have to be ready to face the challenge. This is life. Yesterday is not like today, today is not like tomorrow. If every day is like yesterday or today, the life will be boring and we cannot go ahead, and we will not enjoy the technology, and whatever the inventions in this world cannot be reached, and we cannot enjoy the life. Let me tell you the things what Mr. Toastmaster, table topic master asked the question that yesterday I took the risk in my life, which I never took in my life before. That is, during COVID time, I got a permission from the company and I went to India and I was working from home more than 7 months. Due to the flight situations and it's the situation is not normal, so I was not unable to come back to here, and I got the excuse, but I didn't feel any pressure and I was working well and everything was going well. But the situation was changed during end of the year last year, and it created a big problem in my life, in my career, because of that. And what I learned that we should not take the risk when we are feeling comfortable position, and we always have to be alert. We should not go and take any risk. That is very important. That is called discipline and punctuality. That whatever, irrespective of the situation, if I could move from my place and paying from my side, and for finding whatever the available solution it is, I could have saved my job not to go for the situation. Back to you, Toastmaster of the table topic master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jaber Ali, for great speech about the theme. The next topics. Growth is the only evidence of life. From this, what is your most important plan for improving your personality in this year? So this topic I call Toastmaster Asma.
Thank you. Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, your topic is, what is your most important plan for improving your personality in this year?
Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. I have been raised in a household where we should be average at everything and should not have lower skills at one thing and higher skills at one thing. So all of my childhood, I was very bad at cooking. I was very bad at household, but I got good grades. But that was not okay with my parents, and I had to be average at houseworks, average at communication skills with people, and average at school. So they would force me not to study, unlike most parents, just to socialize more, increase my communication skills, and increase my household skills, unfortunately. And I grew up with that idea that I should be average at everything. And if one thing is lower than everything, if I have one weakness, it would stay in my mind for a very long time until I beat it and I become at least average at it. That's until I became in university, where I realized that I shouldn't capitalize on my weaknesses, because no matter how hard I work on them, I would still be average. Instead, I should work on my strengths and I should capitalize on them and spend more energy and more time improving these skills. So most of the most successful people in the world have this mindset that they are good at something, they go all the way until they become the best at it. And with that mindset, I started working on improving some of the skills that I'm already good at, and I saw some promising results. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Table Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Asma, for a wonderful speech. Could I continue one more topic, Toastmaster of the day?
Yes, you can go for one more topic, PT Master.
Thank you. Change is inevitable. Progress is optional. From this quote, what was your inevitability meeting that has happened in your Toastmaster journey? This topic I called TTM Manas Al-Bukhari.
Can you please repeat the topic once again?
What was your inevitability meeting that has happened in Toastmaster journey?
My inevitable?
Yes.
Can you just once again repeat it? I did not get it.
What was your inevitability meeting that has happened in your Toastmaster journey?
Okay. In 2005, when I was in my college days, I had a very close friend, Afshas Abdul Aziz. He said, Manas, you have a bike, you are a localite. Why don't you train me how to ride a bike? I said, Yola, come on. And I made him sit on the bike, and then we started driving. We fell down. He learned. After 2-3 days, he was an amazing rider. I believe I first coached. This was my first time coaching someone to do something. Then later, years later, in 2018, I saw him in the airport wearing a pilot's uniform. And I asked him, hey, what are you doing? He asked me, I am flying today, and I'm a pilot. I said, wow, which is your flight? And I happened to travel in the same flight with the same level of frightness, and the fear which I had was amazing, because I knew that we fell down when I trained him on how to ride a bike, and I never wanted that to happen in my flight. Why am I telling all these stories? Because during coaching or during training or during improvement lessons, we all make mistakes. But Toastmaster is one arena, a platform where I find that coaching is not about finding mistake, but it is about motivating others and asking them to improve at every stage. My first meeting at Toastmasters is the most unforgettable. And if I am a distinguished Toastmaster today, it is the most inevitable meeting which have occurred in my life. The first meeting at Taj Toastmasters, where I totally fell in love with Toastmasters fraternity at all. Back to the table topic master.
Thank you, TTM Manas Al-Bukhari. Was a great speech about the topics. This is our end of our table topic session. As all the speakers spoke wonderful. The timer, all of our speakers are qualified.
Yes, table topic Toastmaster. All speakers qualified.
Okay. Now it is moment to use your personal chat box. Yes. Now it is the moment to use your personal chat box with the vote counter to vote for your favorite table topic speaker. As a table topic master, I had a great time with you. Back to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Table Topics Master, Toastmaster Dr. Arunachalam, for that great table topic session. it was in line with the theme, and looking at how each one of our speakers was speaking almost up to their disqualification time. I saw several speakers speaking beyond the red light, and I was just wondering, I had a nail-biting finish, whether they are going to finish it within time or not. And this shows the credence of how the topics have been chosen. Kudos to you, and a big round of applause to our table topics master. Big round of applause from everyone for our table topics master, Dr. Arunachalam, because when you give out really interesting topics that encourage us, our speakers, to speak impromptu, that in itself is a success of the session. That was a great session, and I request you all, as the table topics master said, please vote for the best table topic speaker. The link has been shared already by our vote counter in the chat box. We still have one more session to go, and before that, we have one more speech to go. Our third prepared speaker has joined us, and he had joined us in the intervening time when the table topic session was going on. Thank you very much for joining us, even though it had been a contingency at your workplace. The third prepared speech would be evaluated by a very senior and humble Toastmaster. I would really call him the example of humble as well as humor, because every time I remember him speak on the stage, it is his humor and humility that takes us all by like a storm. So let me call upon the evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Guru Rajan. Sir, please share the objectives for the third prepared speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening, for the nice words spoken. A warm good evening to all Toastmasters. I am eager to listen to impending, amazing speech from our senior Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster. It is from the level 2, and the project number is 2 in the effective coaching path. He's going to talk. The purpose of the project is for the member to learn about different communication styles and identify his primary style. So the time of the speech is from 5 to 7 minutes. Good luck to the speaker, and over to the Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Guru Rajan, for reading out the objectives. Our third speaker for today is a very senior Toastmaster. Rather, if you ask several of Toastmasters in District 79, which is the district that which we belong to, they would, if you ask them to give an example of a Toastmaster, probably the first person to come in their mind is this gentleman. And it is indeed a proud moment that he is part of Taj Toastmasters Club. He is not just a part, but he is actually a charter member and has been a president of Taj Toastmasters Club, winning accolades for the club and letting it achieve the president's distinguished status several times. He has been a long-time mentor for several of our Toastmasters. And in fact, we could call him like a mentor of mentors for Taj Toastmasters Club. He is a man who has the passion to touch lives by sharing knowledge and serving and uplifting people. And he is a man of action and believes in less talk and more work. Professionally, he works for Samsa Express as project manager or Oracle ERP Fusion implementation. Being a Toastmaster for almost 25 years, he has been instrumental in bringing out paradigm shifts in the way Toastmasters meetings and Toastmasters events are being conducted. And in fact, he was one of the persons behind the story of creating District 79, the Toastmasters district that encompasses Riyadh and the eastern province of Saudi Arabia. Please put your hands together to welcome distinguished Toastmaster S.R. Sridhar to deliver his Level 2 Project 2 speech from Effective Coaching Strategies. And his speech is about understanding different communication styles. DTM Sridhar, you are unmuted. Please, could you please unmute yourself?
Can I share the screen?
Yes, screen sharing has been enabled.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests, good evening to you all. Have you all been misunderstood? Have you all been misunderstood? I think. Can I start again? I'm facing some problems here. I'll start again.
Timer, please note. So would you like to check your share screen before you start?
Yeah, I'll check. I want to check my share screen. 1 second, because I don't have, here, 1 second. This is the one. Share screen, 1 second. Yeah, where is Zoom? Wait. What I have to just click share screen, no?
So you have to click share screen, then you will see a pop-up window. And in that window, you'll have to select the particular application that you wish to share on the screen.
1 second. Why I'm not getting the share screen? I got a share screen. 1 second. Yeah.
Double click on the application that you wish to share on the screen.
Okay. And double click 1 second.
So once you click on share screen.
Yes, this is a share screen. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, we see that now.
Yeah, and then how am I being 1 second? I have to go and.
So in the share screen, you can go for the slide view.
Slide view, and then I have to go where I am also visible. That's one thing. No? 1 second. I should also be visible. 1 second.
So you are visible also, sir. So that cannot be done. It has to be through a virtual background. But for now, you are visible on this side. You can start.
Okay. Now start.
Start the time.
Yeah. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Good evening to you all. Have you ever do you felt sometime that you have been misunderstood? Do you always felt sometimes, oh, I didn't understand what he says. I'm telling something that guy is not understanding. How many of you all have felt that way? So what happens? There are always barriers to communication. Barriers to communication. What happens that we are sometimes in emotions. We are emotional and we don't understand. And then once emotional set in, it goes out of the window. Objectivity goes out of the window. So we cannot communicate with people, or that guy doesn't understand. Then what happens? The latest is the technology. The technology and emails and texting. So then there's no personal touch. We lose personal touch. That intonations, that communication, hence there's always a gap. And the other one is generation gap. Oh, this is old-fashioned. He doesn't understand. These are all things happen. The major one is the cultural and the language barriers we have. So these all are barriers to communication. But yet, can you even communicate in spite of all these things? These are facts, but yet, what do we have to do? We have to change ourselves and identify the people. How do we communicate with such people? So we have to identify what are there are 4 personality types of communicators. So we have to understand, as Stephen Covey said, understand and then be understood. So we have to understand with whom we are talking. There are 4 types. There are people who are thinkers and analyzers. Oh, and then they always data-oriented, detail-oriented. There are socializers. Oh, they like to socialize with people and do all those things. Very gregarious. And there are types of people who are supporters and nurturers, low energy levels, who would like to be calm and cool. And then there are direct communicators, like your bosses. They just want facts. These are the people. And what we need to do, we need to recalibrate ourselves and communicate at their level. Then only we will succeed. So what do we do? What is the best way to communicate with each personality type? What is the best way? Is there only a single way? We need to recalibrate and we need to do things in such a way that we understand, we go to their level of communication. So let us take the different types. Now, analysts and thinkers, they like a lot of data, a lot of graphs, data, all those things. And they want to be perfect, perfectionist. They would always like to take time to produce the results. For example, if you go and tell them, oh, I just want to, please give me the results after 1 hour, they won't like it. And they would like to have long notice, correct notice. They would always be a perfectionist. So in them, we need to talk to, if we have to talk to them, we need to give them time, we give them this thing perfect, we give them a layer of data and a lot of things, facts and data, and then we communicate with them. Then they start understanding us. And if you push them, give me within 10 minutes, they will not do that. They won't like it. In fact, there will be a barrier to communication. Now, other guys, the second, who are the second? They are socializers and promoters type of communicators. They like to socialize, they like to party. They have lots and lots of energy. They want storytelling and they like brainstorming also. And then for them, they're so gregarious. With them, energy levels are very high. With them, how do we communicate? We communicate in such a manner that they like it. And then if you have to tell them anything, a matter of fact, it won't work. You have to tell them story, you say, good morning, how are you, how was the day? And then you can start, they like. And being ourselves, if we are like this, it's the best way to deal with people. The third type is, they are all supporters and nurturers. Like their energy levels are low. They always want harmony. They were always people-oriented. If there's any change, they'll always feel how it impacts the people. And they always like to have good relationships. And they wouldn't like to turn the apple cart. And they would always feel they have to be in a very calm and cool. To communicate with them, what do we do? We have to lower our energy levels, talk to them in a nice manner, and then understand, and we have to more listen to them rather than talking to them. Then we start communicating with such type of people. We have to identify. The last type, they are directors, they're communicators. They're called directors or controllers. They always want to get to the point. No good morning, good evening doesn't work with them. Doesn't work with them. They have to say they are result-oriented, facts-oriented. They only are driven by facts. They won't work what about emotions. So with them, like bosses, so we need to have our facts ready, figures ready, and to the point. They will like it. So whenever we're communicating with direct communicators like controllers, it's like this. So friends, what do we do? Do we have one single style or different style? We need to change our style according to the different people to be successful in life, in communicating. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster S.R. Sridhar, for detailing it out to us, the different communication styles with used examples. Please give a big round of applause for distinguished Toastmaster leader, our final prepared speaker for today. At this juncture, let me ask our timer, Mr. Timer Toastmaster Bhaskar, if all our prepared speakers are qualified.
Yes, Toastmaster of the day. Yes, all speakers are qualified.
Thank you very much. The voting link for the best prepared speech has been shared already by our vote master, Toastmaster Muhammad Shakir. Kindly vote for the best prepared speech whom you feel performed to the best of their abilities. Before we move on to the evaluation session, let us also see how much we have changed ourselves and attuned to listening, because we all say the Toastmasters motto for better listening, for better thinking, for better speaking. Of course, listening comes first. How many of us have embraced this change? So to test us in how we have listened well, we have a listener today. And to do this role, we have a very energetic and enthusiastic Toastmaster. Any role that you give him, he's always on the forefront to take it up and do it with courage and says, let me take it up as a challenge, and always proves to that one. So he's going to prove to us yet again as the listener for today. Toastmaster Jabir Ali, the virtual lectern is yours. And please go on with your listener's role.
Good evening once again. The first question: what is the computer manufacturing company name which was displayed during Mr. Ibrahim's presentation? Raise your hands if you know the answer. What is the computer manufacturing company name which was displayed during Mr. Ibrahim's presentation from 1976 to 2009? He was showing one page presentation.
Toastmaster Rajan raised his hand first.
Okay, Rajan, answer please.
Thank you, Toastmaster. I suppose it's Apple.
Yes, correct answer.
All of you turn on your videos and unmute yourself so that you can jump up with your answers when our listening master is asking the question.
Second question: who is the poet name which was used in the Toastmaster Rajan speech? Raise your hands, please.
Shakespeare or what is it? Poet's name?
Shakespeare.
Yes.
Poet's name.
Same. Yes. Correct answer. Okay. Third question. It's little hard question. Let me see. Can raise the hands, and then I can ask one by one who is giving the right answer. What are the 4 P's? 4 P stressed by Toastmaster Rajan in his speech. One, two. Yes, 2. Yes, first, Toastmaster Sundar.
I am his evaluator, so I am pretty sure that I know all the 4. You can ask someone else.
Okay. Then who else raised the hands?
DTM Manaz raised his hand.
Yes, DTM Manaz.
It is DTI Sunita John.
Yes.
Sunita is raising.
Yes, Sunita.
Toastmaster Sunita is the home evaluator, so we cannot.
Our pitch, place and pause.
Correct answer. Yes. Fourth question. Mr. Rajiv, he moved from his home city. Can you please tell me the city name he moved from last year? Yes, Toastmaster 1, 2, 3. Yes. First, Toastmaster Rajan.
He moved from Bangalore. He was in Deutsche Bank in Bangalore.
Yes, correct answer. Yes. Fifth question. Last question. How many style of communication presented by Toastmaster DTM Sridhar? Raise your hands, please.
4.
4. Okay. Okay. So there are 2 winners. One is Toastmaster Rajan and second one is Toastmaster Guru Rajan. Okay. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Jabir Ali, for superbly conducting the listening master's role and checking if you have all been listening. And there have been few spectacular listeners amongst us. And let's all take a leaf out of their books and be better listeners. That's what makes us better learners. Thank you very much. And with that, we come to the end of our education session for today. A big round of applause for all the prepared speakers, the table topic speakers, the table topics master, and our listening master. Thank you very much. Moving up next, I told you, it's a session where we learn. And this is the best part about Toastmasters, often repeated by everyone who comes here as the Toastmaster of the day. But in spite of being repeated infinite number of times, this is an impending session that always makes sure that we are impressed upon and learn from that. Because this session teaches you that feedback is what takes you to the next level. Feedback is what is going to make you the person who's going to change and adapt to the next level. And this is nothing else than the general evaluation session where we will have a lineup of evaluators. And let me not spill the beans. We have a very energetic, enthusiastic, and I would call him the youngest Toastmaster in Taj Toastmasters Club. Because young and youth is all in your heart and not how you look or what is your age. Age is just a mere number. And this person, this gentleman, is an embodiment of this true spirit of youth. He retired from Kerala tourism after 35 years of human service. And currently, he is doing his belief system as a preaching as a chairman in the Learn the Quran Masters Club. You know, he joined Toastmasters impressed upon by his son and his grandson. His son is a Toastmaster and his grandson is a Gavalier, and he was impressed upon them and he joined Toastmasters and he started superseding them in the way he performs. And he has currently established this club, the Learn the Quran Masters Club, almost 6 units and nearly 200 plus members. And he has also opened up a TikTok channel for which he has close to around 50,000 views. Imagine. And this all in a very short span of time within probably the last 1 year or a year and a half. He has been a member of Taj Toastmasters Club for the last 2 years, that's since 2019 June. It's indeed proud to have him as a member. And please put your hands together to welcome our general evaluator for today's session, Toastmaster Abdul Nazir.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Are you audible?
Most welcome, Toastmaster Abdul Nazir. You are very clear and audible.
There is a saying, cooking is an art. Likewise, evaluation is an art. A man asked an artist, how do you make such a beautiful things from stone? He replied, beauty is already hidden there. I just remove the extra stone. See, that's what we are also doing here. We are making speakers with removing that extra stone. Toastmasters, guests, and a warm good evening to all. This is the evaluation portion of the meeting, and the purpose of my role as general evaluator is to introduce the evaluators, present the meeting reports, and then give a general evaluation of the meeting. Evaluating is an important part of the Toastmasters program because in giving and receiving feedback, we improve our speaking and leadership skills. A good evaluation should be helpful, encouraging, and motivating. Focus on speech, not the speaker. Before I call on the first evaluator, evaluation session would happen for 2 to 3 minutes. 2 minutes green, 2 minutes 30 seconds amber, 3 minutes red. The evaluator will get 30 seconds grace time for being qualified. Let us commence with the evaluation of the prepared speeches. I would like to call on our first evaluator, Team Sunitha Joni, who will be evaluating Ibrahim Karjikar's speech. She is an English teacher by profession. She has 15 years experience in various teaching and administrative roles in education management and has worked in Middle East International School, South International School, Al Hussein International School, and Dome International School in Riyadh. Currently, on a sabbatical year, she is pursuing a course in continuous professional development. James Sunitha Joni was a member of Taj Toastmasters years ago. After a decade, she joined Taj again with her husband, a teacher by profession. This couple have been inspiring all of us with a lot of energy and passion. Let me welcome PM Sunitha Joni.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abdul Nazir. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, you're loud and clear.
My speaker, Toastmaster Ibrahim Karjikar, thank you for that wonderful speech today. The well-organized and well-researched speech on exponential growth of man, or human beings. Presenting the massive exponential growth we humans had in a nutshell, starting with this speech with the walking ape, and then covering the major strides that humans have had with the discoveries that we have made, showed the abundance research that you have done. It was overtly evident. The content was so rich with all the examples and the major events that we have had, all well done in chronological order and highlighted with the Big Bang and to nanotechnology, to genome sequencing, and all within such limited time. All this was well structured and gave us a very good picture of what we have accomplished so far as humans. We as a species have broken the shackles of time. Such powerful words that you used. It did give goosebumps, realizing the limitless and impending advancement that we humans have awaiting us as well. I believe you've accomplished all the objectives required for the project, starting with your rich content, with the neutral style that you chose, very informational. I couldn't find anything that you need to improve or work on, frankly, but I did think whether it is possible when giving such an informational speech to add in a little humor. I mean, seeing your capacity, I'm sure you could have probably been able to do that as well. Apart from that, thank you so much for this wonderful speech, very informational. It was a great accomplishment to have all of this covered in the few minutes that you had. Thank you for the wonderful speech and looking forward to more or impending great speeches from you. Over to you.
Thank you, Sunitha, for your valuable evaluation. instead of next speaker, we are calling this some change in order. We are going to call DTM Gururajan to evaluate DTM Sridhar's speech. Gururajan is our senior consulting engineer in Saudi electrical engineer, Toastmaster from 2007, ex-president, DTM, club coach for Mobili Never Surrender Club, contested in division, one wife and one son. Hobby is music and yoga. Let me call DTM Sridhar. Sorry, DTM Gururajan. Am I audible? Yes.
The leaders are not always doing different things. They do things in a different way. That's what I saw today from our DTM Sridhar's speech. I have seen the novel ideas about the different types of communication, which I have not seen so far. He was giving a good message to the people. And what I was admiring in his speech is the frequent questioning. The way you question the audience. It keeps the audience quite attracted and they will be getting your message. This we have to learn from his speech. And if you look at the content of his speech, he started with a question. How many times we have been misunderstood by others? It's a very good question. We really started thinking about it. Then he made it so simple, 4 varieties of communication. One is emotional type and one is thinkers and analyzers. Next is a socializer. Third one is a supporters and nurturers. Fourth one is a direct communication. It was very simple, which we are practically seeing every day. That shows that the speaker really comes down and then makes the speech very useful to the people. So we can adopt the techniques to be a very effective communicator. So I would suggest this an excellent speech overall, and it's giving a very good message how to tackle those type of communicators. And I was enjoying the whole situation for all the speech. Now it's like a garland with full of flowers. It was a speech. I'm only going to add some few flowers to make it still more presentable. One thing is, in any speech, a personal touch is required. And if DTM Sridhar would have put some personal story or some other story where was a problem in the communication and how it could have been done, then we would have got an excellent message from him. Next, this sort of storytelling always gives you more chances of vocal variety and conversation instead of simple narration. So that will make the audience more attracted towards you. And the third one, what I could see is the vocal variety, everything comes out of energy. I understand it is the end of the day and our great mentor was talking from the office. Maybe if you had some more energy level in his speech, would have been still more attractive, or audience would have got the message in a still better way. And finally, what I would see that is the lighting was not proper on his face. Maybe is a minor aspect that could have corrected. And overall, it's an excellent speech in giving simple message how to tackle different type of communicator. Only he has to add the personal story and a bit of vocal variety and energy. And with this, the speech will go to the next level, go to the general evaluation.
Thank you, DTM Gururajan, for your nice evaluation. Our next evaluator is DTM Dr. Sundar Ramlingam to evaluate TM Rajan Joseph's speech. DTM Dr. Sundar Ramlingam is Associate Consultant Oral Surgeon at King Saudi University Medical City,
Toastmaster since 2017, currently Club President of Taj Toastmasters Club, BPPR, Garjana TMC, and Club Mentor of Mecca KSA Club. Let me welcome Dr. Sundar Ramalingam on stage is yours.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. It's only your name that's my enemy. Being a Montaggio makes you my enemy. Be a rose. What a great way of reminiscing beautiful moments from his English class. A way to beautifully start an eloquent speech by my speaker, Toastmaster Rajan Jose. He started off with the act, a particular act that involved a conversation between Romeo and Juliet, and how the implied message that people from one generation to another were not willing to change, which led to their impending disastrous love story. Moving on to the Shakespearean words usage and the Shakespearean language that he brought into the opening part of the speech, Toastmaster Rajan enthralled us all and engaged us to his speech, which was particularly about body language and vocal variety. A great chunk of message taken from a great piece of literary work and portrayed in a beautiful way is, in fact, the greatest hallmark of the speech that I would say. He just didn't stop there. He went on to convey the message of how the Shakespearean rose and the intention of sharing love and how it was to be connected with what happened in the future, to how his grandma tended to the roses and how she subtly adapted to change when it was the weather season. That was the time to actually tend to these roses. And then finally, he moved on to his speech, which was about calling a spade a spade. That is because he wanted to convey the message that his speech was not just about body language or the message, but also about the vocal variety, which was the main crux of information that he wanted to share to us. And he brought in those 4 P's: the pace, the pause, the power, and the pitch. Toastmaster Rajan embodied the great speech with all the characteristics that had to be portrayed in the objectives, be it the body language, be it the vocal variety, be it the message, be it the transitions from the Shakespearean drama to his grandma, and finally to closing on with the 4 P's message. And finally, the finishing touch was combining all of them put together by the Jim Reeves song, which was also in line with the message that he was trying to convey. A great piece of art, I would say, rather than a speech, beautifully crafted, well-scripted, great use of words. Toastmaster Rajan, if I were to suggest you to take your speech to the next level, looking at the objectives of this speech, because it was about body language, it would have been a little bit better had you moved backwards, moved your arms freely when you're talking about Romeo and Juliet. What a romantic scene it is, especially when Romeo looks down from the balcony and Juliet looks up towards him in earning love. And those areas where there was a conversation between Romeo and Juliet, you could have tried to do a subtle vocal variety, like kind of a mimicry. Of course, you had the song, but this would have added even more glory to your great speech that you presented today. On the whole, a beautifully crafted speech, just these subtle changes with the body language and the vocal variety. Toastmaster Rajan, I see a champion speaker emerging in you, and I'm looking forward to that impending award for you. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Dr. Sundar Ramalingam, for your wonderful evaluation. Our table topics evaluator next. Next is our table topic evaluation. Our table topic evaluator for the day is E.M. Mohammed Mateen. Toastmaster Mohammed Mateen, a management graduate specialist in logistics and supply chain, working as organizational development manager and branch manager at Right World. Let me welcome Toastmaster Mohammed Mateen.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator, for that generous introduction. Inevitability of change is always expected of me when I'm a table topic master or a table topics evaluator, so that those impending accolades come to your shelves as well. So when we talk about it, today our speaker has told about the new resolutions in the new year where you want to burn the flag. To burn the flag, we go to the lawn in the morning to see those lovely ladies or the lawn. Both of them go under the blade or burn the flag. So that is what I'm going to do tonight. The table topic evaluator started off well, but there was a technical glitch. Always make sure that you ask whether I'm audible or visible, and make sure that you start with that kind of a note. And you started with the quote, you were immaculately dressed, and your theme was on to the theme of the day, your questions. But only thing is that you are from Tamil Nadu, you see that the tender coconut is very nice. You see the guys chopping it off. You need to present the questions chopped off in a very short manner, as in Arabic they say as zibda. It has to be very sweet and short. It were too long for the DTMs to even understand it. That is one of the point. And going forward, you use a lot of quotes, and the best quote you said is, do not fight the old, but build the new. And you need to do that. You're repeating the old style of your functioning, where you have to cut down your questions and make it very short. Your first question was, what is the biggest innovative change you made last year? Make it short. Did last year, which I would never do again, so that the speaker is in a comfort zone. Our first speaker was Rajiv, Toastmaster, and my buddy in Indian Badminton Club. We burn it out together, and I have the liberty to say that you could have stand and spoken, used the stage and brought in humor. You had a personal story. You spoke about the SAP bank. It was a great advice by your mother. Whatever you're afraid of, do it right. Only thing what was missing was the humor and the tonality of your voice. You could have asked, well, the call for action was also there. And the next question was for Mohammed Shakir. What is one thing about the world which you wish could change? It's such a long question. You know, what you wish to change the world. So make it small and simple. But anyways, our speaker, Mohammed Shakir, immaculately dressed, very stood up and spoke with a great smile and confidence. Very nice. But my dear friend, no one cares whether you're not well, as long as it's a Zoom meeting. Okay, we are not here to get marks based on the emotions. Okay, so we don't need to hear that. Okay, and you could have brought in humor by telling that now I have 6 bags. It could have been 6 packs in the next year. That's why I joined the club or the gym. Okay, you had a personal story, and you took an initiative. You had a call for action. It was great. And the third question was something tried last year but never again. What is something last year but could never do again? It was then again confusing. But our speaker was Jabir Ali, who stood and spoke immaculately dressed and had a great voice. But one thing, my dear friend, what I say is you do not take the reference of other speakers or the reference of the Toastmaster having used the question. Okay, you had a personal story of pandemic situation, and you can make you don't need to give the lectures. Use the crafts words. Say complacency, the risk, calculated risk which you didn't take. You had call for action. And you said you could have made it short and sweet. You had a great story to talk about it. Only thing is that humor was missing in it. The next question was, what is your plan to improve? And you called upon a guest. When you call upon a guest, table topic master, make sure that you request the guest whether she is willing or he is willing to talk. Then only take an initiative of calling them over to the stage. But then again, our guest speaker accolades to you. What an impending speaker you are. You started well. You spoke about your family values, the way you were being brought up. But then again, you can use the crux words by telling that instead of talking about the law, the averages and the lectures, you could say law of averages. You were brought up with law of averages, and it was a great story. You had a personal story. You showed your strength, and you could have ended by saying that you did end well, but you could have said that pursue your passion. That could have been a punchline ending, by using that kind of crux sentences. And the fifth question was, change is inevitable and progress is optional. And the question asked was, what was your inevitability meeting that happened in your Toastmaster life? It is so confusing. If I put yourself, table topic master, on the other end of the table, even you would be confused to answer this question. The senior DTM was in himself, being such a great speaker, was so confused that he has to ask you twice to understand the question. Even though, having said that, he is worth being a DTM. The way he spoke is something we all need to learn about. Yeah, the way he started well, and he connected with the team. He spoke about a personal story where in 2015, he coached a friend, and then that friend became a pilot, and he met him, he had a personal story, then he brought in the humor of being how frightened he was toward that 3 or 4 hour flight. And then he said that it is not about, coaching is not about finding mistakes. It's about training people. Okay. Then again, having said that, even though you are my friend, DTM Manaz, I would say that you could have brought in humor and said that, like Google, which does not nudge you when you do a mistake. You idiot, you missed it. Now you have 45 minutes traffic more to go, like your wife. That is something which you could have done in a very good way. That was the best part of it. Dr. Arunachalam, when you ended it, you could have ended. You have asked the timer about the timing, whether everyone is qualified, which is a great thing to do. But when you ended the session, you could have ended with a punchline ending. You could have brought in some humor and handed over the lectern to the tabletop, to the Toastmaster of the day. With this, I hand over the lectern to the general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster McKean, for your nice evaluation. With this session is over. Dear timer, all are qualified. All evaluators are qualified.
Hello, General Evaluator. Can I share my screen for the report? Yes, all are qualified. Yes, here is the
Our
report.
vote master will now provide a link to vote for your favorite evaluator.
Point of information, timer, you will be called again later on for the timer's report.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Toastmaster. Yep.
Vote master, please provide link.
Yeah, voting link has been shared.
Okay.
You can proceed.
Let me now go into the second session, the meeting leaders report. Let me welcome grammarian TM Asma Abdullah for your report.
Thank you. Today, the word of the day was used 18 times, mostly by Sundar and Rajan. And it was used correctly in the correct usage inside the sentence. I have some notes about proper use of language and improper use of language. I will start with the improper use of language. I heard I shall doing, I shall sharing, I shall sending, and it should be I shall do. I heard also the biggest inevitability change. It should be biggest inevitable change. Also, I have heard feeling uncomfortable situation. It's correct, but it should be being in an uncomfortable situation. Also, I heard I came back to home. It should be I come back home. However, the use of proper language was very overwhelming. It's very good, and I even kept a note of some sentences that I think I will use in my life now because they sound so poetic, so beautiful. For example, I heard citing these ageless words. Mostly Rajan has some poetic usage of language in his speech. It says, Romeo is lingering at the garden, and I can visualize that happening. Also, Ibrahim said, mind numbing. It's an interesting phrase. Also, he said, open the shackle of our human technology. And it's like, I can visualize the shackle opening. Also, I have heard Rajiv used a reference to a book. He said, seek a much better cheese, reference to Who Moved My Cheese, which is about change management. And that was what his speech was about. Also, I heard some very advanced word like gregarious means social. Also, I heard I can imagine the frustration in his speech. He said, sending emails to people using technology instead of personal life can lose intonation. And I can actually visualize a situation where the intonation was very important, very crucial, but just because it was in an email, it was misunderstood. That's all about my grammarian report. Thank you for giving me the chance. Back to you, General.
Thank you, Toastmaster Asma Abdullah. Please give your Wordmaster report also.
She mentioned it already. Toastmaster Abdul Nazir, it was mentioned at the beginning of her report. She said the word was used.
Okay. It was used 18 times.
Yeah, Toastmaster Abdul Nazir, she has already informed that in the beginning of the speech of her address, and she has told that it's been used 18 times. The word has been used 18 times. You can continue, please.
Okay. Let me call her counter, TM Rajiv.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Abdul Nazir. So here, let me provide you a report on the usage of the filler words like so, etc., etc., etc. So, for example, Sundar used for 4 times and so repeatedly for 2 times. Dr. Arunachalam also used if for 2 times, for 2 times. Javed Ali spoke for 2 times. Asma also spoke repeated word for 5 times, I 2 times, and 2 times. Manas used for 3 times. Toastmaster Gururajan used for 5 times. Rajiv, myself, used for 3 times. Sundar used, Sundar is repeating, so that's counted already. Toastmaster Sunita used for 2 times. Mateen used for 5 times. With this, back to you, Toastmaster Abdul Nazir.
Thank you. Thank you, TM Rajiv. Next is the timer report. TM Bhaskar.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Here is my report. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yeah. Today we started roughly around at 7:19 p.m. and it was all impending speeches by all the speakers and everybody is qualified, which is a great news and a great way to start the year with. And we had 3 speakers today. The first speaker, Mr. Toastmaster Ibrahim Ali Karjikar, he closed the speech with 7 minutes, 10 seconds, followed by Rajan Jose at 7 minutes, and then DTM Sridhar, although he was in the below, he joined later, but his speech was 7 minutes, 17 seconds. And then coming to the table topics again, Toastmaster Rajiv, 1 minute, 42 seconds, Toastmaster Shakir, 1 minute, 59 seconds, Toastmaster Jaber Ali, 2 minutes 22 seconds. Toastmaster Asma, 1 minute 56 seconds, our guest today. And Toastmaster Manaz, 2 minutes 24 seconds. And then coming to the evaluation, the first speaker evaluator was Toastmaster Sunita Joni, who took 3 minutes sharp, and DTM Gururajan took 3 minutes 29 seconds. And really I didn't know whether I was right or wrong. It went till the nail biting end. And our DTM Dr. Sundar took 3 minutes 30 seconds. Then followed by my mentor, Toastmaster Mateen. He finished overall his feedback by 7 minutes 32 seconds. Over to you, General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, timer, Team Bhaskar. Here comes the end of the meeting leaders report. Our vote master will now provide a link to vote for the best meeting leader. Timer TM Bhaskar, Hack counter TM Rajiv, Weight master grammarian Asma Abdullah.
Link has been shared. Toastmaster of the Nasir, you can please proceed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Now it's time for my general evaluation report. Our Sergeant at Arms started meeting with 2 minutes late, handed over to presiding officer in time. Then the Toastmaster of the evening explained about the theme vividly. Inevitability of change. He explained very well. Toastmaster of the evening properly introduced to the meeting leaders. Table topic master explained about the purpose of table topic. He given the theme selected was also excellent, but he forgot to explain about the timings. He given role to guests also. Our counter, please note that when count humming words or humming sounds, you can use once, twice, thrice like that, instead of 1, 2, 3 like instead of that. So let me conclude my general evaluation. Back to Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Abdul Nazir, for that great evaluation session, the general evaluation session. A big round of applause for Toastmaster Abdul Nazir for having delivered a great evaluation session. Please. We indeed listened.
Sorry, John. I'm really torturing you, I know.
I'm sorry, is that something, Toastmaster Bhaskar? I guess that was unforeseen. Okay, so we had a great listening and learning experience from our evaluators, the role players who are the meeting leaders, as well as the general feedback from the meeting. A great way of listening, learning, and taking ourselves to the next level by changing and adapting ourselves. As the theme goes, the inevitability of change is something which we cannot rule out. Change is impending. Imagine tomorrow is not going to be the same like what you had today. And it is imperative and important because look at the speeches that were done today. So it is change that embodies human evolution. If we are not changing, then probably we are not evolving. So let us adapt and embrace the inevitability of change. And with that, I sign off and wishing you all a very warm, beautiful, and pleasant New Year 2022. And I hand back the lectern to the presiding officer. I enjoyed being the Toastmaster, and back to you, Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Manaz Al-Bukhari.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Dr. Sundararamalingam. What a fantastic way to start our new year with. Dear Toastmasters, the voting link for the best of Big Three, that is our Toastmaster of the evening, our table topic master, and the general evaluator have been shared on the chat. Please do vote for the best of Big Three. While the voting is going on, I would take the honors of asking the feedback from our guest today, Toastmaster Asma Abdullah, who did a fantastic job as a grammarian and the word master. Toastmaster Asma, would you share your feedback, please?
This was overall a very professional meeting. I was very impressed. This reminds me of an advanced Toastmaster club in Montreal. It's very inspiring. I think I can improve much better staying here for a while. I have no feedback, unfortunately.
Thank you very much for that inspiring words. A big round of applause. And we truly enjoyed your role as grammarian and the last minute honors of taking up the responsibility of the word master as well. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. As today's meetings says, Taj Toastmasters has always embraced changes. And we always are proud to say that we were the first club in District 79 to take up the virtual meeting once we heard that COVID started. And we were the first ones actually to come back into a hybrid mode once we know that, okay, it's safe to start meeting. And today we are standing even to face and get challenges on how meetings are going to happen in the next coming weeks with this Omicron wave as well. As any Toastmasters, the most challenging job is about the impending meeting, about what next, who is going to take up the roles next. But at Taj, we are never short of any such opportunities. Next week, we are going to meet at Masala Zone. Look forward for your partnership in getting the roles filled, which will be shared soon in our meeting link. Please do fill up your speaking slots and take up roles. Looking forward for your meeting in the next meeting as well. May I ask the vote master if the voting links, voting results are ready?
Yes, the voting results are ready. Can I share it now?
Yes, I think it's now time to announce the result, and we have our vote master, Toastmaster Mohammed Shakir, with the results.
So once again, good evening to all. Are you all ready to listen to the results? Are you excited?
Very much.
Let's hear its figures. The best speaker, Toastmaster Rajan Jose. Best speaking topic award goes to Toastmaster Asma Abdullah. Best evaluator, Toastmaster Sunida. Best meeting leader again, Toastmaster Asma Abdullah. And best of none other than our president. Congratulations to all the winners, and back to you, presiding officer.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Mohammed Shakir, for being the vote master in spite of your illness. Thank you for supporting us. And thank you very much, all of you, for joining us amidst all your challenges, all your busy schedules. Let's switch on our video cameras and take a good group picture. As a memory of our first meeting this 2022, we have a few more beautiful faces to be seen. Yes.
Toastmaster Rajiv is there. DTM Gururajan.
He would be cooking. Assume.
Everybody say cheese.
Cheese.
Say cheese. Once more. Cheese. Okay, that's done.
Doctors are always interested in the dental teeth. Dentists.
Thank you very much. It's time for our national anthem. I would request all of you to raise up, and while Toastmaster Doctor would be sharing.
I'll share the national anthem.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Now the stage is open for Dr. Sundar, you can end the live screen.